Brother Ross Scalise is here with us this evening. I'll tell you a little bit about him. He's 57 years old, so he's still a young man. He has worked for the city of Conway since 1981, longer than some of us have been alive. He's been married to Vicki for almost 23 years, and they have 7 children, 8 grandchildren, and 1 more on the way. So when the Lord said multiply, they obeyed. Amen. He gave his life to Christ in the spring of 2003. They joined CMA later that year in December, and they became members of the Gap Riders chapter in Conway. Ross has served in the position of road captain, chaplain, vice president, and president. The only thing he hasn't done has been secretary treasurer. It's time for you to do that. He became a CMA area rep in 2012, and in 2014 he became the state coordinator for CMA Arkansas. It's a pleasure of mine to have Ross and Vicki here with us this evening, as well as several of their grandchildren, as well as the rest of our several of our CMA family. But I want to give you a personal note. Over the past several years, I've enjoyed the time that I've got to spend with Ross and Vicki, and they are truly, truly dedicated to their service in CMA and for the gospel of Jesus Christ. Ross and Vicki are 2 people that give us the picture of what Paul was talking about in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 7, when he said, "Serve wholeheartedly, as if you were serving the Lord, not people." They set the example for each of us as to what servant leadership actually means. And guess what? Believe it or not, they have a lot of fun doing it. It's a joy sometimes to sit back at any of our rallies and watch them work. We've all seen that picture of the monkey that says, "Work fascinates me." I could sit and watch it for hours. But they have so much fun serving other people that it makes other people want to get up and get involved and start serving themselves. And of course it's all about Jesus. That's what we're all here for. But they set a good example for everybody that knows them and that spends any time with them. So it's good to have you all with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Brother Ross, without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you all so much for having us. I do want to say one thing as far as the position in CMA. Wouldn't be happening without my wife, Vicki. We are state coordinators. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I would be lost without her. Jesus got the other end, but she keeps me straight in the world. Anyhow, I appreciate everything that she does do and helps, and I just don't want her to get overlooked because she's my main thing. Thank you, Brother Philip, for having me, and First Christian for having us. And it's good to look out here and see all the CMAers, because I get to talk to CMAers all the time, and I get an opportunity like this to come to a church, and I'm like, oh man, that's not going to be my brothers and sisters, even though y'all are my brothers and sisters, but I just feel probably more at ease with the CMAers. Anyhow, I want to share my heart, where the Lord's brought me from and who I was. So my testimony, but I do have some scriptures that I do want to share. Let's go to the Lord. Father God, I give you thanks. I thank you for sending your Son for ransom for me, for my brothers and sisters. Thank you for planting us in a day and a time where we can worship you without fear. We can proclaim your word. We can go out and be ministers without the terrible fear that other countries and other places have in this world, where they'd be persecuted. We know what's coming. Father, we're enjoying the freedom we have now. I thank you. I ask you to bless this word. I pray that your spirit guide my tongue, and that what you want conveyed this evening will be conveyed to your people. I ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. Whenever when Philip first said something, I was busy. It was crazy. We were at Seasons of Refreshing, and it was a week or two earlier, which is one of our first big events. So I didn't really. I said, yeah. And then, like 2 weeks later, I said yes, didn't I? So immediately, this scripture came to mind, and I wanted to share it. I've been dwelling on it, and I just want to even start with this. It's 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7. One day, a group of prophets came to Elijah and told him, as you can see, this place where we meet with you is too small. Let's go down to the River Jordan, where there are plenty of logs, and there we can build a new place for us to meet. All right, he told them, go ahead. And he said, please come with us, someone suggested. He said, I will. So he went with them, and when they arrived at the Jordan, they began cutting down trees. But as one of them was cutting a tree, his axe head fell into the river. Oh, sir, he cried, it was a borrowed axe. Where did it fall? The man of God asked. When he showed him the place, Elijah cut a stick and threw it into the water at that spot. Then the axe head floated to the surface. Grab it, Elijah said, and the man reached out and grabbed it. That was an awesome miracle, you know. We go on in Joshua, where they took the city, and it was said, all the silver and gold and articles of bronze and iron are sacred to the Lord and must go in his treasury. That was the stuff they couldn't get. But iron was in that, and that was an iron axe head. It was a man of God, it was Elijah that threw the stick in to rise it up. But it was God that performed a miracle. But did he get it? Did he do that for Elijah? Did he do it for the follower of Elijah? His understudies? Or would he do that for you and I? If we go to Deuteronomy 10:17, I'm going to read this out of the NIV. For the Lord your God is God, of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality and accepts no bribes. No bribes. So that tells me he'd do that for any of us, to work a miracle. Now, you ever get something and lose it? Well, a lot of times, and my wife will get this, I'll do this. We'll talk, and I do this. She knows what that means. She means, catch it, hold on to me where I don't lose it. And, yeah. So she's good at that. And as I was meditating, thinking on this scripture there, the axe head is a tool. We're all tools of the kingdom. We're to do a job. And that axe head, to me, symbolizes that, a working tool. Which of us, and I see a lot of tools out here, which tools out here have never flown off the handle? Now, come on. I'll get it started.
We have.
Yes. And, okay, there's nothing. If your tool flies off the handle and it falls in the river, the lake, and it's gone, it's not to be used. You can't be a kingdom expander if you're sunk, if you're off over there. But if a brother or a sister reaches out a branch. It doesn't say, but I'm making it an olive branch. You fly off the handle and you reach out to your brother and sister in Christ. If they reach out to you because you've fallen off, flew off the handle, and they reach an olive branch out to you, not turn their back on you because you've done that, but pull you back into the fold. We have to be that example for Christ. Otherwise, the world doesn't need what you got. If you just turn your back on your brother off an incident, and Lord just impressed that to me. I was coming here when He gave me that, believe that or not. I'm a tough biker. I rode over here in the cold because that's the way I had to get here. This front row had all my seatbelts took up. So I just wanted you to know that maybe I'm not the cold weather rider you might have thought I was. I got grandkids and I want them to be here, so I just wanted to share that with you. I want to get into my testimony, and I want to start it in a period of my life that I can say is from here on, and that's 1996, end of August. I went on a blind date with a lady, and she's sitting right there. We started dating the end of August, got married at the end of October. So it was a kind of a whirlwind romance, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Amen.
Man. But I'm not the man I don't know why she married me. We loved each other. It was, I seriously, we were madly in love. Everything was good, but I had some serious problems. And had a alcohol problem. I mean, just to be blunt. I wanted to share this before, and I told the Lord if I got a chance to share it again, I would. I didn't know I was going to have grandkids here when it happened, but I told Him I'd do it, and I want to be faithful to my Lord and Savior because He's meant everything to me, and I sincerely probably would not be here today if it wasn't for Vicki and the Lord. So on that, I do have another scripture that I wanted to read. It's Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. And that is fact. That is awesome scripture. I did not know what I was getting when I got it, but I thank God for it. I assure you that. So I functioned, I like to say I had the same job forever and a day, and I was a functioning alcoholic, weekend alcoholic, squeeze some in other times, you know. It had been that way for years, and you've heard of the generational curses, and I believe I was under that, but that was just kind of a thing that our family did, and it got to a point in our relationship, and I got really bad. I mean, I could fight it off. I might one weekend just turn it off. See, told you I didn't have no problem. The problem was the next weekend, yeah, I had to make up for it, and that's bad. And, anyhow, one of those particular weekends, making up for lost time, I had a pretty bad bout with it, Little gal right there about had enough of it, I guess. She had to go drag me in the house. Had been over to neighbors. And she said that she laid me gently down over by the washer and dryer in a heap of laundry over there. I don't know if that's true or not. I know that's where I woke up. And it was a really low part of my life. I'm sure I was close to poison myself. I had blown out a vessel in my eye. Sometime that night, it lost control of some bodily functions. It was just, could not have been any lower. And I guess that's where I just had to be. But I got the ultimatum the next day. Of course, I felt bad. But I really felt bad when I hurt the woman that loved me the most. And so that was it for me. No more binging like that. I got away from that. So we're doing better. I'm controlling myself a whole lot better. Not perfect by any means, but we're concentrating on our family and work. And through this, it's me and her, and I've got 3 children, and she's got 4. And so we couldn't go anywhere all at the same time. It was just kind of shift work, but we made it work. And but we did have to have some time alone, and that's kind of where the motorcycling come in. I was a motorcyclist when I was younger, and I rode. Then when my kids were young, I got away from it, but I asked her if that's something she might be interested in, and she kind of acted like it would, so we got into motorcycling. In Conway, there was a group, secular group, what they call ABAE, which is a motorcycle rights group. It's not a religious organization by any means. And we started hanging out with them, and there was a few people in that group, or quite a few people in that group, that had dispatch. And, we talked about it, we got involved with it, and we loved hanging out with those guys. Those guys were great, They're always nice, and inviting you stuff, and doing stuff. Now I know what the deal is on it now. Now I want to be one of those guys. So, this one thing that was so instrumental in us into joining it was they loved on us, and made us want what they had. And that's what I love about this organization, is the chance you have to impact people's lives. So we started going places with them because, you just could not. They were so nice, and there's so many stories, but we ended up going to Rolla, Missouri, to a Biker Sunday. Rode from Conway up there with this group, stayed the night in a hotel, got up and went to church, and during that church service, something changed for my wife. She come out of that thing, and she was, on fire for the Lord. And I thought, well, that's great, I think it was 2 weeks later, we ended up in Scott, Arkansas, at another Biker Sunday. And I gave my heart to the Lord.
Amen.
I remember where I was sitting. I remember the people I walked by when I went down to the altar. It was just an awesome, awesome experience. And I still go to the Biker Sunday because it just brings back a flood of memories for me. I'm sorry. It's just, even at that, and I had given my heart to the Lord, I still had reservation about something. My wife had joined the church. I was going to church with her, but she joined the church, and there was something that just wouldn't let me take that next step, and I couldn't understand it. Then I went on with that group, secular group, on a ride, and she didn't go. And I was going down Interstate 40, close to Atkins, Arkansas. I was on a tollway. And I usually rode with my music going pretty good, and it was just like the Lord reached over there and pushed mute. And he gave me a message. And I love to tell you it was a big audible booming down from the clouds. But it wasn't like that. It was just a strong impression on me that he told me, he said, go home and pray with your wife. So I'm riding down through there, and I'm by myself, you know, we're on the road with several lights. And this is weird. This has never happened to me before. So we stopped for ice cream 20 minutes later. I had a buddy of mine that was on the ride. It was a pretty good friend of mine. I told him, I said, you're not going to believe this, but the Lord told me to go home and pray with my wife. He's like, you sure? I was like, yep. He said, I guess you better go do it then. So that just was on my mind. Y'all just, I couldn't let it go. And I was nervous and excited and scared. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to do something. And I knew that I could not squash it. I couldn't. It was just that strong that it was like, you know, you kind of talk yourself into maybe you make that up, but I couldn't even get started good arguing with myself because it was just too powerful. So I got in for the ride. I went straight back to the bedroom where she was at. And I said, hey babe, she said, yeah. I said, something happened to me on this ride. She said, what is it? I said, the Lord told me to come home and pray with you. She kind of looked at me funny. I said, I'm not kidding. She said, well, are you going to do it? I said, I reckon I am. So we sat on the edge of the bed, and I said the most eloquent prayer you'd ever want to hear. That's not true. That was the most awkwardest thing. It really was, but you know, we got to rolling with it, and by the time I got done, we were just weeping and crying, and right then, when we finished that prayer, I knew I was going to serve the Lord. I knew I was going to do what He told me to do. He said, if I can feel this, for being obedient, this is what I want to be. This is where I want to be. I want to be serving the Lord. And I don't think I probably could have looked any sillier when I was saying that prayer with her, because it was just, I don't know, probably the first time I prayed with anybody or out loud to anybody ever. So that was such an amazing experience, but that was the key that brought me on home. And there is scripture that I think corresponds with that to me in my heart, and I want to share that with you also. It's Joshua 6:20. And praying with my wife at that point in time, like out loud, just coming in like that off the cuff, was probably no different than marching around the walls of Jericho. They had an army marching and hitting the horns and all that. Didn't make any sense to those people probably, but it accomplished what God wanted to. So when the trumpet sounded, the army shouted, and at the sound of the trumpet, when the men gave a loud shout, the walls collapsed. So everyone charged straight in and took the city. And I liken to that prayer, that we prayed that prayer, the walls fell down, and my heart went completely to Jesus right then and there. I don't know. Not long God's got a way to drop that wall and let Jesus into your heart.
Amen.
For me, that was how it happened. For you, it may be different. He put me in a ministry that made this possible. And and part of the bio, and I guess I'll share that with you, but Vicky's an only child. I'm an only son. And through this ministry, Matthew 19:29, and everyone who has left houses, or brothers, or sisters, or fathers, or mothers, or wives, or children, or fields, for my sake, will receive 100 times as much and will inherit eternal life. I have brothers and sisters all over this room, all over the state. Through this ministry, I have gained so much family and love and support that it's just unreal. And I want to be there for them. And it's just such an awesome thing. And that we can do what Jesus called us to do and show the world how we're supposed to be. And it is tough to forgive, but Jesus did it, and we can do it. And we know what the truth is, and we know what the Word says. And all this time that I was, call it what it was, an alcoholic. By the way, I said I worked for the city of Conway since 1981. I work for the sanitation department there. I've done everything there, from work on the back of the truck to drive a truck, to be a supervisor, to be a manager, to be a truck driver. Wasn't always the best environment. It's a lot better now. When I first started, it was a pretty tough environment. But I know now the Lord always had something for me. He always has something for you. And I want to share this one more scripture with you. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me. And when you seek me with all your heart, you will find him. And I know, and my knower to this day, that scripture is 100% truth. It's what happened to me, it's what happened to my wife, and I thank God for it. And I thank Jesus.
Amen.
Philip?
Thank you, Brother Ross. Appreciate that. When I asked him when he got here, I said, "Do you have a title for this?" And he thought for a minute. He said, "No." He said, "I got one. Yes, Jesus." And I talk about this all the time. I'm constantly trying to encourage people to obey God. And I talked about this last week. We talked about Noah and the ark. And this crazy old man out in the middle of the desert is building a boat, talking about rain. Ain't nobody ever heard of rain. Sometimes God asks us to do some crazy things. But all we have to do is say, "Yes, Lord." Riding a motorcycle down the road with your friends, told to go home pray with your wife, is crazy. Most people would just keep on saying, "Oh, that was whatever," and just keep on going. It takes somebody to be obedient for God to use us. And even when it's a small thing like that, or a big thing like building an ark in a desert and telling people about rain, everybody calling us crazy and nuts, or whatever it may be, whether big, whether small, God tells us to do something. It's best that we say, "Yes, Lord."